What are things school officials can do to prevent mass shootings on their campus, including counseling and taking serious any reports of students or staff with weapons? In Uvalde report, law enforcement agencies didn't take initiative during shooting. Following the Department of Justice's report on the Uvalde school shooting, NBC News' Ken Delanian breaks down why having multiple law enforcement agencies on the scene created a sense of inertia that delayed the response to the shooting.
Preventing mass shootings, school actions beyond counseling and reporting. The Uvalde tragedy highlights the complexities of preventing mass shootings in schools. While counseling and taking reports of potential threats seriously are crucial, a multi-pronged approach is needed. Building a positive school climate. Foster a culture of trust and respect. Encourage open communication between students, staff, and families. Create safe spaces for students to report concerns without fear of judgment or punishment. Implement evidence-based social-emotional learning (SEL) programs. Equip students with skills like conflict resolution, stress management, and empathy to navigate challenges constructively. Promote inclusivity and belonging. Combat bullying, discrimination, and social isolation through targeted programs and community-building initiatives. Threat identification and assessment. Train staff to recognize warning signs. This includes changes in behavior, social media activity, and expressed threats. Provide clear protocols for reporting concerns and involving mental health professionals. Develop threat assessment teams. Compose multidisciplinary teams of trained professionals, mental health, school safety, law enforcement, to evaluate potential threats, develop intervention plans, and connect individuals with appropriate support. Promote anonymous reporting systems. Provide students and staff with safe and accessible avenues to report concerns without fear of retaliation. Security measures. Conduct regular safety audits. Identify vulnerabilities in school infrastructure and access points. Implement physical security measures while balancing them with an open and welcoming environment. Develop and practice emergency response plans. Regularly train staff and students on lockdown procedures, evacuation routes, and communication protocols in case of an incident. Collaborate with local law enforcement. Establish clear communication channels and procedures for coordinated response in case of an emergency. Community partnerships. Engage families and community organizations. Build strong partnerships to offer support services, address underlying social issues, and prevent violence before it occurs. Advocate for broader gun safety legislation. Encourage responsible gun ownership practices and support policies that limit access to firearms for individuals at risk of harming themselves or others. Moving beyond Uvalde. Address the inertia of multi-agency response. Develop clear protocols for incident command and prioritize decisiveness during emergencies. Invest in mental health resources. Ensure adequate funding and access to mental health services for students and staff within schools and communities. Conduct ongoing research and evaluation. Continuously evaluate the effectiveness of school safety measures and adapt strategies based on evidence and best practices. Remember, preventing mass shootings requires a comprehensive approach that goes beyond reactive measures. By creating a safe and supportive learning environment, actively identifying potential threats, and collaborating with families and communities, schools can play a critical role in mitigating the risk of these tragedies. It's important to note that this list is not exhaustive, and the specific actions schools take will vary depending on their context and resources. However, by prioritizing these areas, school officials can take meaningful steps towards creating safer learning environments for all. School officials' role in preventing mass shootings. The Uvalde tragedy highlights the need for schools to take a multi-pronged approach to preventing mass shootings. Here are some key actions school officials can take. 1. Foster a safe and supportive school climate. Nurture a culture of trust and respect. Build strong relationships with students and staff. Encourage open communication, and promote inclusivity. Implement social-emotional learning (SEL) programs. Teach students conflict resolution, communication skills, and healthy coping mechanisms. Address bullying and harassment. Have clear policies and procedures for reporting and addressing bullying, and ensure proper training for staff. Promote mental health awareness and access to services. Make it easy for students to seek help if they are struggling emotionally, and ensure that mental health services are available and accessible. 2. Enhance security measures. Conduct regular safety assessments. Identify vulnerabilities and implement appropriate security measures like controlled entry points, security cameras, and emergency lockdown procedures. Train staff to recognize and report warning signs. Train staff to identify potential threats and how to report them discreetly and effectively. Develop and practice emergency response plans. Conduct regular drills to ensure everyone knows what to do in case of an emergency. Partner with local law enforcement. Establish clear communication channels and protocols for collaboration in emergency situations. 3. Take all threats seriously. Create a system for reporting potential threats. Ensure students and staff know how to report concerns anonymously and confidentially. Investigate all reports thoroughly. Don't dismiss any reports as rumors or jokes. Conduct thorough investigations and take appropriate action, even if the threat turns out to be unfounded. Develop a protocol for handling students in crisis. Implement strategies for intervening when students show signs of distress or potential violence. 4. Advocate for broader gun control measures. Work with community organizations and legislators to advocate for stricter gun control laws. This could include measures like background checks, limitations on high-powered firearms, and safe storage laws. Lessons from Uvalde. The Uvalde report emphasizes the importance of coordinated and decisive action by law enforcement during emergencies. School officials can work with local law enforcement to develop clear protocols for communication and coordination between different agencies. Ensure that all officers on the scene are aware of the situation and have a clear chain of command. Provide regular training on active shooter scenarios and best practices for response. It's important to remember that there is no single solution to preventing mass shootings. A comprehensive approach that addresses both the root causes of violence and the practical security measures is crucial. By working together, school officials, law enforcement, and communities can create safer learning environments for everyone. Additional resources. Everytown for Gun Safety. Link to everytownresearch.org. Brady United. Link to www.bradyunited.org. Sandy Hook Promise. Link to www.sandyhookpromise.org. The National Association of School Psychologists. Link to www.nasponline.org. The Uvalde shooting has brought renewed focus on the role of school officials in preventing mass shootings and the importance of effective response when such tragedies occur. Here are some key areas where school officials can take action. Preventative measures. Fostering a positive school climate. This includes creating a safe and inclusive environment where students feel supported and valued. This can involve building strong relationships with students, addressing bullying and discrimination, and promoting positive social-emotional learning. Mental health support. Ensuring access to qualified mental health professionals for students and staff is crucial. This might involve partnerships with local mental health agencies, offering on-site counseling services, and training staff to identify and support students in distress. Threat assessment and intervention. Implementing robust systems for identifying and responding to potential threats of violence. This can involve training staff and students to recognize warning signs, developing clear protocols for reporting threats, and having a team in place to assess and intervene with students who may be at risk. Secure school infrastructure. Evaluating and strengthening school security measures, including controlled access points, security cameras, and lockdown procedures. However, it's important to balance security with a welcoming and open learning environment. Weapon safety awareness. Educating students and families about the dangers of gun violence and the importance of responsible gun storage. This can be done through school-based programs and community outreach initiatives. Response measures. Clear and coordinated emergency response plans. Having well-rehearsed plans for various emergency situations, including active shooter scenarios. These plans should be communicated clearly to all staff and students and regularly reviewed and updated. Effective communication. establishing clear communication channels for both internal and external stakeholders during an emergency. This ensures timely and accurate information is shared with students, families, and first responders. Active shooter training, providing appropriate training for staff and students on how to respond to an active shooter situation. This training should be based on best practices and avoid instilling unnecessary fear or anxiety. Collaboration with law enforcement, building strong relationships with local law enforcement agencies and having clear protocols for collaboration during an emergency. This includes joint training exercises and regular communication to ensure a coordinated response. Addressing the Uvalde report. The Uvalde report highlighted several shortcomings in the response to the shooting, including delayed decision-making and lack of clear leadership among multiple law enforcement agencies. This underscores the importance of unified command structure, having a single point of contact for decision-making and coordinating the response during an emergency. This can help avoid confusion and delays. Clear roles and responsibilities, ensuring all responding agencies and individuals understand their roles and responsibilities within the overall emergency plan. Effective communication and coordination, establishing clear communication channels and protocols for information sharing between agencies and within the incident command structure. It's important to remember that preventing mass shootings requires a multi-layered approach that involves not just schools but also families, communities, and policymakers. By taking proactive steps to create safe and supportive school environments, strengthen mental health support, and implement effective emergency response plans, school officials can play a crucial role in reducing the risk of such tragedies.